Greetings! Now, I'm going to show you one of the very last, if not the last, Dinky toy that ever came out. This is, obviously, the USS Enterprise, the refit version. This was introduced in Star Trek, the motion picture, which came out in late 1979. Dinky still had the rights to Star Trek, because if you remember rightly, in the sort of mid-70s they produced the early 70s they produced the larger old Klingon battlecruiser and the TV version of the USS Enterprise. Very, very popular, very, very well selling and fantastic models, really. I covered them in a previous video. Now they still had the rights in 1979, and they decided to produce not only the Enterprise, but also a new Klingon battlecruiser, both based on what was about to come out in the new film. So they had the designs, and so they went about making the Enterprise, of course, as I said, and the new D7, or should I say, the Katinga class Klingon battlecruiser. So they advertised these too. I don't have the Klingon to show, I'm afraid. Maybe one day I will, but not at the moment. I'll tell you why later on. So they advertised these, and they're going to come out probably in December 1979, which was the same time as Dinky finally shut their doors in Liverpool. But nonetheless, the work had all been done on these, and they're pre-advertised as number 801, the Enterprise, and 802, the Klingon cruiser. Okay, fair enough. They both had a firing missile, which would have come out, in this case, out of the secondary hull here at the front. You see that hole? That's where the missile would have come out of. It never happened. It never actually materialized in a production, because in America a child was injured around about the same time firing a missile from a Mattel's Battlestar Galactica Viper fighter, and the parents sued the toy company for quite a lot of money and was successful. And so the firing mechanism was then withdrew from their Vipers. And so Dinky looked at this, thought, uh-oh, so they altered it. And so they changed the versions to non-firing versions, which is the two that came out in the shops, very, very briefly. So the 801 and the 80, what was it again? The 801 and the, that's right, sorry about this, the 802 were then not actually produced and were restyled the 803, the Klingon you're looking at, Enterprise looking at here, and 804, the Klingon, with non-firing mechanism. And that is why you have got a hole. Now, I think when it came out, I think it's hard to find images because there are so few. I think it had apparently a paper or a card disc was put in there to blank out the hole, at least in these first versions. This down here, you used to press that, and that was actually the firing trigger that would have fired the missile straight out of the secondary hull. Now, so this is the first one that came out. It just shows the basic model that had just been slightly changed to not have a firing mechanism, to fire. They were then changed slightly. This was then filled in with metal, and that was no longer a trigger. It became cast, and also the details were altered slightly on the base as well, as in the Dinky was for some reason removed. I don't know why in the second version of this. And sorry, I keep knocking the stand. And some of these details were changed. So 1979, Paramount Pictures Corporation, USS Enterprise, made in England. The ironic thing is, this is why it's so hard to get hold of. These were never, in England, these were never actually produced in the UK. They were produced purely for the American market. Why they were produced in the UK, I don't know. And that's why they're very hard to get hold of. And I can't locate a Klingon. I've looked. I can't locate a Klingon at the moment for under about 30 quid, and that's more than money I'm prepared to spend on one. I don't care if it's his card or not. But nonetheless, perhaps one will turn up one day, and I'll be able to show that one in conjunction with this. So, yeah, there we go. Now, this, I'm sure anybody watching is going to know this is the Refit Constitution class cruiser. So the engine's all completely different. The NCC 1701 is, of course, far too large, but, you know, as I said before with these things, it doesn't really matter because it's a toy, it's not a scale model. The underside of the saucer is a bit strange. We've got this flat bit here, and although the profile is very good, really that bottom really should be under the saucer. It really should protrude down more. It's just like a flat disc, inverted. I'm guessing that was probably done to save metal, because I would have to fill in all this space with metal and produce like a slight cone shape at the bottom. That's probably, I'm guessing, why it wasn't done. Still, you know, we are where we are. But apart from that, it's actually quite good shape. The Corgi also did an Enterprise in 1982 in the merchandising following what advertised it for the Wrath of Khan. And it's actually an awful lot worse than this. The shape's terrible on that one. The nacelles are all the wrong sort of shape, and they're far too close to the saucer and not very good. But this one's actually, I think, is actually quite good, really. So I will find a couple of pictures of them. It did come out, I think, in a... Did it come out in a pack? No, it didn't come out with a 2-pack. I beg your pardon. That was rubbish. That's the Corgi one. So, yes, the two were produced in a couple of slightly different boxes, only for the US market. And I'll see if I can find you a picture or two. In the meantime, as you always have to say with these things, live long and prosper, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.